Recording.
Okay, thank you. Okay, because of the current pandemic and the governor's disaster order, I've determined that it's unsafe to meet in person, and thus we will conduct this meeting via Zoom. All roll calls on votes will be taken, each vote cast individually by roll call. Maria, could you please take the roll call?
Yep, no problem. Okay, we have Trustee Dawn Arimora.
Present.
Trustee Maria Borrero, present. Supervisor Trish Glees.
Present.
Trustee Alec Newshafer. Trustee Cindy Olden.
Present.
Trustee Paul Sett.
Here.
And Trustee Wendy Wheat.
And we also have Kurt Acebruth in the meeting as well. Joined us this evening. So I will entertain a motion to approve or amend the agenda as presented.
So move. Second.
Okay, any discussion? Okay, I'm going to remove under new business item C.
Okay.
I have some questions around that still didn't get answered by the time of this meeting, so I want to strike that for the time being. That was my only change. So is there any other discussion? Okay, Maria, let's see, I need
a motion
to amend the agenda, deleting item C under new business. Can I have a motion, please?
So move.
Thank you, Dawn. A second?
Second.
Thank you, Maria. Can you take a call on the motion to amend the agenda?
Yes, 1 second. Trustee Arimora.
Aye.
Trustee Borrero, aye. Supervisor Glees.
Aye.
Trustee Alec Newshafer. Trustee Olden.
Aye.
Trustee Sets.
Aye.
Trustee Witt.
Aye.
Okay, the motion to amend the agenda is approved. We will now vote on the agenda as amended. Can you take the call on that, on the original motion, please, Maria?
Yes. Trustee Arimora.
Aye.
Trustee Borrero, aye. Supervisor Glees.
Aye.
Trustee Newshafer. Trustee Olden.
Aye.
Trustee Sets.
Aye.
Trustee Witt.
I didn't hear anything from Wendy. Did anybody else? Is it me?
Aye.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I think she froze there for a second. Thank you, Wendy. Okay, so the agenda as amended is approved. Item number 5 on the agenda, motion to dispense with the reading of the minutes for March 11th, 2021, 7:08 Mental Health Board regular meeting, and amend or approve as presented. I'm looking for a motion.
Move.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Any changes to the minutes? Okay, hearing none. Maria, could you take a roll call on approving the minutes for the March 11th, 2021 meeting?
Yeah. Trustee Arimura.
Aye.
Trustee Borrero, aye. Supervisor Glees.
Aye.
Trustee Newshafer. Trustee Olden.
Aye.
Trustee Setz,
Aye.
Trustee Witt.
Aye.
Okay, the motion passes. Thank you, everybody. Proceeding on to item 6, public comments. Were there any public comments, Trish, that you're aware of?
We did have Mary. Mary, if you can unmute, if you have a public comment.
Okay, I'm on comment. I really didn't want a public comment. I'm not really sure. I just had an idea I wanted to run by you guys for next month. So we can wait till the end. It is about a program that we're trying to do.
Okay, we can handle that a little bit later on if that's okay, Mary. That's fine.
Thank you.
Okay. Old business, just quickly, ACMI, they have their regular spring meeting, I guess, next week. I'll be attending that. That's really the only update I have on ACMI. I think I've been sending you some additional emails on some other meetings and those types of things. So you should have that. You're welcome to join any of those. We're going to skip over SharePoint. 3-year plan is still on hold. So we'll schedule that for a future meeting. And so now we proceed to new business. So Trish, do you have a brief update on Ride and Cane?
Yes, I do. So the first thing is that with the mass vaccination site in Elgin and in Batavia, PACE received federal funding through the Ride and Cane program, and any of our riders, whether they're seniors or JARC riders, can ride the bus for $3.25 one way. But it will, when they call, they say they're going, they're going to the vaccination site, and it's not hitting our count total, so they can literally go the whole, either Elgin or Batavia to get the vaccination, and that will continue, for the long haul. So transportation, is critical. So we have been signing up a few more seniors, particularly just for them to get the shot. That's number one. Number two, since the 708 board in the budget approved to pay $115,000 for JARC riders, we have a seat on the board as ourselves as a sponsor. I already go to those meetings, and if everybody's okay with that, I will continue to attend those meetings on our behalf.
How often are the meetings?
They're every 2 or 3 months.
Okay.
Trish, is that 325 only the ride going for the vaccine?
It's only for the vaccine.
Okay.
Trish, unless there are any objections, I think we're fine with you continuing to represent the 708 board on the JARC committee.
Okay, and anybody can attend. We just need to have one voting member. So.
Okay, what I would ask is that that you let the group know when the meetings are.
Mm-hmm. I sure will.
Okay. Thank you very much. Maria, would you please note that Alec joined us at 6:48 p.m.?
Perfect. I will. 6:48.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Moving on to item B under new business. Motion to approve the fiscal year for the Dundee Township Mental Health Board to run from July 1 to June 30th, beginning July 1, 2021. Do I have a motion, please?
Motion.
Thanks, Trish. Second?
Second.
Discussion? Oh, thanks, Wendy.
I
just want to get my name in the minutes before I have to leave.
Good plan.
Okay, any discussion?
What was the date again?
Well,
July.
The motion is from July 1 to June 30th. Okay, so what I know I put this agenda item in here and have it as July 1 to June 30th. I would like to change that to a May 1st date from May 1 to April 30th. To more align with when the money comes in from the county. So I would like to amend the motion to that. Could I have a motion to change that from May 1 to April 30th?
I motion.
Thanks, Trish. Can I have a second?
Second. When you guys beat me to it.
Okay, who was the second? Was it Wendy? Yeah, thank you. Any discussion on the May 1 to April 30th? This is slightly out of line with the township legally mandated fiscal year. And our submission of the budget doesn't change. It still will have to be in December for the following fiscal year. But this is just for our accounting and how we report. So if there's no further discussion, can we have a vote on the motion to have the 708 Mental Health Board fiscal year run from May 1 to April 30th? Maria, could you please call the roll?
Yes. Trustee Arimura.
Aye.
Trustee Borrero. Aye. Supervisor Glees.
Aye.
Trustee Newshafer. I think he's in mute.
I think he just disappeared.
Yeah, he did.
Okay.
Trustee Olden.
Aye.
Trustee Setz.
Aye.
Trustee Witt.
Aye.
Okay, we have 6 ayes, 1 absent.
Okay, thank you, Maria. Okay, next on the agenda, item D. You should have all received a proposed mission statement for the 708 board. I'll entertain a motion to approve the Dundee Township 708 Mental Health Board mission statement. Can I have a motion or a first, please?
So move.
Okay.
Thank you, Wendy. Can I have a second?
Second, Dawn.
Paul, I need to go, but can I vote yes in advance?
Sure.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, Wendy.
Thanks,
Be
Wendy.
safe.
Thanks.
I won't do this again. I really thought I could wiggle out of it, but I couldn't.
Okay. All right. I'll follow up with you tomorrow, Wendy. Okay. So we have a first and a second. Any discussion on the mission statement?
I had a question. Where did this come from, the legislation, or did you write it?
I wrote it.
Excellent job. Thank you.
Any other discussion?
No, I thought it was very to the point, straight to the point, exactly what we're trying to do, so.
Okay. Hearing no more discussion, Maria, can you call the roll to approve the mission statement?
Yes, 1 second. Sorry, so many windows open. Trustee Arimura.
Aye.
Trustee Borrero. Aye. Supervisor Glees.
Aye.
Trustee Newshafer. Trustee Olden.
Aye.
Trustee Setz.
Aye.
And Trustee Witt voted aye as well. So
Yeah, I see Alec is on, but I don't hear him.
Okay, let me see. Is he muted?
No, he's not.
No,
muted.
he's not muted.
Okay, well, we'll continue to proceed.
Just 1 minute, President Setz. Alec, if you want to type, I can watch the chat. Go ahead.
Is he having trouble getting in?
I don't know. He's not typing anything.
Okay. Okay, so the next item on the agenda, item E, the motion to approve the timeline for proposals, submission deadline, proposal review, and granting of awards. You should have the proposed funding timeline in front of you. This is, of course, predicated on approval of subsequent motions, but I thought I'd get it up front here. The idea is that we got a busy schedule coming up for the next couple of months is how this lays out. But if we approve all the additional documents on the agenda tonight, which is the first item here, April 8th, then the application and all the supporting documents would be available over the weekend. I'll put the final touches on the documents after the meeting this evening. And next week, I'll start making phone calls to the various organizations around. If you have any, let's see, wait a second. Did I ask for a motion?
No.
I didn't. I'm sorry. Let me back up. Can I have a motion to approve the timeline for proposal, submission deadline, proposal review, and granting of awards?
So move.
Thank you, Don. Can I have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you, Maria. Can you read? Okay, any discussion? All right. So my idea here, what I'm proposing for a timeline is get the documents, get the whole package together over the weekend, start making phone calls tomorrow and getting the documents distributed to the various service organizations. If you have any service organizations that you think we should target, please give me that information. I'll be more than happy to make the phone calls. I'm starting from a list of the people who've come and talked to us. And then I'm sort of looking at some of the other townships and some of their other service providers to see who they are working with. And I'll call those people and see if they're interested in working in Dundee Township as well. But if there are any others you think we should be contacting, please let me know. We'll give them 4 weeks or a month to submit their application. So they should be here by, the idea is to have them submitted by the 10th. We meet on the 11th.
No, we meet on the 13th.
I'm sorry, we meet on the 13th, but we'll distribute the applications that we've received for people to at least do an initial take on. And then we have a regular meeting on the 13th where we'll encourage all the applicants to attend and answer any questions we have or any other, anything else they might want to say in relation to their application. So that could be a fairly lengthy meeting. And then one of the agenda items for the May 13th meeting will be whether we need another meeting to discuss the submissions and any other comments from applicants. So that's a tentative meeting, but we'll vote on whether we have that or not on the 13th.
Okay.
And then, but I'd like you all sort of maybe block that off on your calendar just as a potential meeting. And then on June 10th, we will meet and vote on the awards. So that's a pretty fast schedule. And if we think we need to have other meetings in between there, or we need to move the voting of the awards based on how many applications we receive and where we are in the process, we can certainly do that. But I wanted to get a schedule out there because we need to inform the applicants, what our current schedule is. But there'll be a disclaimer that the dates are subject to change at our discretion. and we'll be totally transparent about why we're doing that if we need to do it. And then targeting a date of June 30th for contract negotiations, which I think is probably a little bit optimistic, but it's a date, you know, I just stuck out there. So we just keep the momentum going on this. Okay, are there any other questions or comments about this? Yes, Cindy.
Paul, can you share who you have on your list of applicants so far?
Yeah, right now I mean, the people who've come and talked to us. So that's the Northern Illinois Recovery folks, that's AID, and it's the Association for Behavioral Healthcare, you know, who Mary represents and is on the call today. So those are the three I currently have, because they're the ones who have come to us. I'm starting to look at some of the other, you know, nearby 708 boards in the county, in particular, the ones on the south end of the county, to see who they're funding. And I'll add them to the list and just cold call them and you know, let them know what's going on this end of the county.
Paul, could you add all of the police departments and Aunt Martha's?
Yes. And Aunt Martha's, right? Yeah, I totally missed that one. Yeah.
I really want to get social workers in the police departments. That has been so good for Bloomingdale Township.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, and I want to, who's that, Mike?
Mike Hofty.
Mike,
yeah. Or Murray.
Yeah, Mike. Oh, the gentleman you introduced me to.
Mike Murray.
Mike Murray. Yeah, I want to give him a call too.
Yes, give him a call. And for the police departments, I can put them in contact with Chief Heron at Roselle Police Department, who just really raves, and he's been a speaker for us about what a difference the social workers have made for the school district and the village of Roselle.
Okay, he's in Roselle?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, it's going to be a little bit tricky with the police chief since we have 2 interims now. And a couple more that are planning to retire, I think, in the next 12 months. But yes, I will, I'll work on that.
Yeah, and technically Carpentersville is the only one that has a social worker / community resource / jack of all trades.
And we can expand on whatever they have if they want to apply for a grant.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, thanks for pointing that out, Dawn. I had not, I should have had that on the list. Any other comments on the proposed funding timeline here and review of applications?
No, thank you for putting this together. This is intimidating. And you've done a lot of heavy lifting on this and all of the application process. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Okay, hearing no further discussion, Maria, could you please call the roll on the motion to approve the timeline that's in front of everybody?
Yes. Trustee Arimura?
Aye.
Trustee Borrero? Aye. Supervisor Glees?
Aye.
Trustee New Schaefer? Trustee.
Take yourself off mute, Alec.
Aye.
Yay.
Oh, yay.
Hi, Alec.
Hello.
Trustee Olden?
Aye.
Trustee Setz?
Aye.
Trustee Witt? Absent. Okay, we have 6 ayes, 1 absent.
Okay, the motion passes. Moving on to item F. Can I have a motion to approve the application for proposals?
Motion.
Thank you, Trish. Can I have a second?
Second. Alec.
Okay, thank you, Alec. Okay, so you should have received a funding application. This is a document I put together. It was based on other research I did, what other people were doing and things like that. And this would be the application that they would actually fill out to apply for funding. Is there any discussion on this?
As we discussed, there would be, if somebody had multiple services, there would be multiple funding applications, and that's the one, you know, the one that says funding application, that's the one that would be multiples of?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yes, and they're yeah, and that really, I mean, except for, you know, some of, you know, there might be some information that's duplicated, like the agency name and, you know, who the executive director is, but otherwise all the information would be different because it would be a different program they're applying for.
Okay. And my next question is, when you talk about excluding any specific 708 funding board, like, you know, if we pick a group and they're already working with a 708 board, that wouldn't matter to us because we don't care.
Well,
Correct.
no, actually, if you turn the page over, it does ask for 708 board or township funding. I mean, it's split
I gotcha.
Right at the bottom of the previous page, it says, please list any 708 or township funds by program and amount by fiscal year. And I thought, you know, that would give us an opportunity that if we wanted to reach out to those boards to see how they're working with those organizations, that would, you know, give us a lead on that if we wanted to follow up on that.
Okay, my page printed weird, so okay, thank you.
Yeah,
it's not you, it's me.
Well, I tried not to put in page ejects here.
I gotcha.
Because they tend to screw everybody up anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, it does ask for that. That's why I have the statement, please, you know, exclude any specific funding so we can have a separate category for that. Otherwise, I think I've captured everything we really would need to know from an agency at this point. Is there any other questions or discussions on this?
I was glad to see that you asked for their organization mission statement. I think that gives you that will give us a lot of like, well, how does their mission, you know, accommodates and, you know, kind of compensates what we're trying to do. And so I thought that was really good. Another question or suggestion would be maybe core values, but not every organization has them. But you guys know I'm all about that. So that usually helps me out. When I apply for anything, whether it's a volunteer opportunity or a job opportunity, I always try to look at mission statement and values and, you know, whether or not I identify or I can see myself growing with whatever application I fill out. So I thought that was important to put in there.
How would you phrase that, Maria?
No, I feel like it's sometimes, for example, there are core values or pillars, like some organizations have that, like, for example, like Elgin Police Department, I guess is like progressive education. Like there's like three things that they value above like everything. So, I don't know. It's just a suggestion. I can think about it and maybe send it on a separate email, Paul, okay, if anything. But yeah, sometimes that helps me out. It's like you said, like you typed on the application, you said to summarize the organization's mission statement. So I feel like they most likely they will be able to put that there. But it was just like, you know, into the mission statement, if they have core values, that sometimes that helps out as well.
Okay, the other suggestions I could make too is you know, we can all, you know, if you know, they come to our meeting, you know, we can also dive, you know, dig down into that if we think there's any questions about what their core values or mission are as well.
Perfect. That's another alternative.
Okay, because sometimes too, it helps if you put somebody on the spot where they have to orally articulate it.
Yep.
It gives you a sense of, you know, how deeply ingrained it is rather
Correct.
than written word on the page.
Correct, yes.
Okay. But no, I think your point's well taken though. I think it's a great point. So it's something we should probably, we definitely need to keep in mind moving forward. Any other questions or discussion? Okay, so again, just reiterating, this document, the funding application is the actual document that the agencies will fill out. Okay, so Maria, could you please call the roll on approving the application?
Yep. Okay, Trustee Arimura?
Aye.
Trustee Borrero? Aye. Supervisor Glees?
Aye.
Trustee Newshafer?
Aye.
Trustee Olden?
Aye.
Trustee Setz?
Aye.
Trustee Witt? Okay, we have 6 ayes, 1 absent.
Okay, the motion passes. Thank you, everybody. Item G on the agenda, motion to approve the Dundee Township 708 Mental Health Board. I have it in here as request for proposals. It's really the list of service categories, and I apologize for that typo.
Yeah, I noticed that. I printed it out twice, trying to see if I made a mistake.
Yeah. So it's the document labeled list of service categories. This was a document that I introduced at the last meeting. And I will update it with the dates that we, there are things in red here, red type. And those were the items that we approved earlier. So I will of course fix all of that. But this is the list of service categories. My sense at the last meeting was that we had general agreement on that. So I will entertain a motion to approve the list of service categories.
So move.
Thank you, Don. A second, please.
Second. Oh, go ahead, Cindy, you can have it.
Second.
Okay, so we have Don and Cindy.
Yeah.
Okay, so I had the sense that everybody was relatively pleased with the service categories during the discussion, but is there any other discussion on this?
No.
Questions, comments?
It's good. It's good.
Any other comments or questions? Okay. Well, I'm glad we spent the time reviewing that the last time. So
yes.
Yeah, it made it easy. It really did.
It did. It's the only one I knew.
Okay, Maria, could you take a roll to approve the list of service categories?
Yes. And just for the record, Paul, you want me to strike out that request for proposal, right? And put it list of service. Okay.
List of service categories, yes.
Okay, sounds good.
Good catch.
Okay. Trustee Arimura?
Aye.
Trustee Borrero? Aye. Supervisor Glees?
Aye.
Trustee Newshafer?
Aye.
Trustee Olden?
Aye.
Trustee Setz?
Aye.
And Trustee Witt, she's absent. So 6 yes, 1 absent.
Okay, the next item on the agenda. Oh, crap, I forgot to print out something. Okay, let's see. My printer went haywire this afternoon, and the next item on the anyway, forget it, not your problem. The Dundee, so I will entertain a motion to approve the requirements and guidelines for funding, which is a document that we also reviewed the last time. So could I have a motion to approve that?
Motion to approve.
I second.
Okay. Any discussion? Okay, so I incorporated the mission statement we approved earlier into this document. It's in red text on the first full page of content. Otherwise, there are really no other changes to it because there were no other further comments the last time.
I just realized on page 3,
Yes.
where it's 4.2, Dundee Township has a population of approximately 64, yada, yada, yada. It's West Dundee, East Dundee, Carpentersville, Sleepy Hollow, and portions of Elgin. Gilbert should be moved over to portions of Gilbert's, Elgin, Barrington Hills, Hoffman Estates, and Algonquin.
Okay, so it's not all of Gilbert's.
That is correct. It's only portions.
Well, you should get the Wikipedia entry fixed.
I'll be right on that.
Yeah, that's actually where I got this from.
Primary source.
It's correctly on the website.
Yeah.
Which page is that?
Page
3.
Okay. Oh yes, I see it.
Number 4.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I will make that change. Any other comments on the document?
Hang on, I think that was all I had.
Okay. Okay.
Yep, that's my only mark.
All right, thanks. Any other questions, comments? Okay, so this is another document that'll go along in the package to those requesting funds. Don, Maria, would you please call the roll on the motion to approve the guidelines for funding?
Yes. Trustee Arimura?
Aye.
Trustee Borrero? Aye. Supervisor Glees?
Aye.
Trustee Newshafer?
Aye.
Trustee Olden?
Aye.
Trustee Setz?
Aye.
And Trustee Witt is absent. Okay.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is, sorry, I'm switching windows here, is a motion to approve the evaluation checklist. Can I have a motion?
Aye.
So,
Thank you, Don. Alec, you second?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Don and Alec. Any discussion? Okay, so what I've done here is come up with a method to for us to evaluate the applications themselves. And depending, you know, my thinking on this is depending on how many applications we get, we may divvy up the applications among us all, or if we have a small number where each of us can do all the applications that are submitted, then we'll do them all. I think we can decide that at the May 13th meeting, how we want to handle that. But the idea here was to come up with a standard way that we will all evaluate the applications themselves. So a lot of this is, you know, qualitative in nature, right? Because we're asking for narratives. We're asking them to explain what they, you know, what they bring to the table. There are some quantitative stuff like, how do they charge and those types of things. But, you know, rating each of the sections in the application on a scale of 1 to 5, and then a short narrative as to why you rated it that way, I think would give us a start to have discussions about the proposals themselves. So there'll be a bit of homework, obviously, outside of the meetings for each of us to individually go through the applications that were assigned and develop, and rate them. And then, we'll distribute that all to, all the different ratings to everybody. And then, we can start making decisions on which ones we want to fund, after some, good discussion and review. Does that sound like a reasonable way to approach this? Is the evaluation document that I put forward to discuss, does that make sense to people?
It does. I like it a lot. It's like developing an algorithm, which is what we do for scholarships too. It's a checklist, and you give each scholarship applicant a number, and we have a grid so we can evaluate all the different applicants.
I was just gonna suggest putting it in a table because
Yeah.
or like it's better. It's like visual. I mean, I'm not saying that this is probably not the final document, but if you need help with that, Paul, I can probably put it in like a grid or whenever it's approved. That way it's like easier.
Yeah, an Excel spreadsheet. Yeah.
Yeah, because then you can also count the results better and just have the numbers right there and calculate the total if needed.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is it's not the content that is at issue here. It's the format for completing the content. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah.
So I want to give my 2 cents on this from a project management. I would see, I see this as feeding the SWOT analysis document. So because there would potentially be 7 different thought processes on there, which would then feed into an Excel SWOT document. Is the way I saw. The only thing I had a comment was it's a PDF. If we could make it a Word document so that we could type it as opposed to handwriting things in.
Yeah, actually, the source document is a Word document. So. Okay. Yeah. So my thinking. Okay. Let's see if I can. My thinking on this was, this would be a Word document. You put in your your rating 1 to 5. You'd write a short narrative. We can certainly take that content and stick it into a spreadsheet. Or we could just start with a spreadsheet and you just put all your comments in there that way. I mean, I can work with it either way.
Yeah.
So let me. So I think the important thing that we need to approve here is the content, and the actual mechanism. Whether we use Word or Excel. I can work up 2 different versions of that, and then we can decide. I don't think that's a voting thing. I think it's important that that people understand how we're evaluating the applications.
So it's like, for example, I was just also gonna suggest maybe writing down a little bit, like a little summary of what that means. Because, for example, if it says required document finances, or if they're missing all of them, or if they're missing some of them, or if they are not requiring one, like maybe put like a little summary saying company or organization, like 5 means this, 4 means this, 3 means this, 2, because I mean, I don't know, maybe I'm just looking at it from the point of view of I've served as judge for scholarship applications, and that usually helps to have like a little guideline of what 4 means, 5 means, 3 means.
But the problem is each one, I understand what you're saying, Maria, but 1 through 5 is going to be completely subjective. My 1 may not be the same as your 1, your 5, etc. That's why I like the please state your reason for the rating. You know, if you choose a 3 or a 4 or a 1, you could say, prospect, server, prospect servicer is missing these documents or all the documents or this or that. That's why if it's in a Word document, it's easier. And then it's, to me, and this goes back to project management, and then you just take the numbers that move into the Excel spreadsheet.
Okay, I understand.
Yeah, so it was just, you know, I just put the endpoints, you know, 1 being poor, 5 being excellent.
Right.
And then if you, certainly if you're doing a 2, 3, or 4, you know, the narrative was, you know, would support that. Now, somebody could say, you know, because I can envision, because I've done this before. I used to review grants for the National Science Foundation. And,
oh, God.
Yeah, really. Those are always fun, especially when, you know, we had to gather in Washington and around a big table for 3 days. But the, you know, everybody has sort of their own perspective, but somebody could give a 4 and have an explanation. And, you know, realistically, somebody could give it a 2 and have a similar explanation.
Okay.
You know, so you know, I think even if you were to, I think it would, and the other thing is, I think to explain, you know, the finer, you know, the in-between points for each of the categories would probably be a little bit different.
Yeah.
And then it just gets to be way too complicated, I think. So
okay.
I would like to leave it the way it is. And I think, you know, we're not looking for a dissertation on, you know, why you gave it a 3. We're, you know, it's like, you know, what are the key points? You know, what is it that you're focused on?
Yeah.
The one thing also that I considered doing and did not put in here because I just couldn't figure out, you know, how to make it work was, you know, to give a weighting to each of the categories. So is section A more important than section C?
Yeah, like 10 points, 20 points.
And I didn't want to get into that at this point because this is our first pass through on this. And I just don't think we know enough. I think, you know, with a rating scale and some narrative around the justification for that rating, I think should give us enough information to make, you know, good judgments here. At least that's my perspective on this at the moment.
Yeah, I think that helps us. I mean, it's a great key metrics, and as we grow, it would, you know, you could start getting into weights and everything, but it does get to be difficult.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think it's a little early given our maturity as an organization.
That's right, exactly, 100%.
Yeah. Okay. Any other comments, questions about this? Okay, then Maria, would you please take a roll on the motion to approve the evaluation checklist?
Yes. Trustee Arimura?
Aye.
Trustee Borrero? Aye. Supervisor Glees?
Aye.
Trustee Newshafer?
Aye.
Trustee Olden?
Aye.
Trustee Setz?
Aye.
And Trustee Witt is absent. So 6 ayes, 1 absent.
Okay, thank you, everybody. Well, that's great. That was the last item under new business. So without objection, I would like to give Mary, if we can give you 5 minutes.
Beautiful.
To talk about the topic.
Beautiful. I could do it in 5 minutes.
Okay.
All right. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much. I know this is a lot of hard work that you're going to undertake. And I guess I'm very glad to hear that your funding cycle has changed, because what I came here today was to talk about is we are trying to do a program. It's called Handle with Care. It involves the police departments. It involves the social workers at the schools. It involves the community. For if there's something that happens in a home, let's say that there is domestic violence and the police are going to arrest one of the parents and there's children in the home, but there's some protocols that are put in place because really trauma is big in our children's life and it's really going to carry through it. So in order to do that, we need to do training for mental health for our first offenders, not only police, but fire departments and also our school districts. So for the past 3 or 4 years, I've been working with a gentleman. He has a doctorate in social work. His name is David Carrillo, and he actually does what is called mental health and crisis intervention for police and first offenders. And he also does a program called LFCI Institute, which both programs offer 40 hours of trainings for mental health for your teachers, mental health training for your fire department, and your police departments. Unfortunately, I think that we're in a time of crisis with our children going back to school, or our youth going back to school in September, that I think we're going to see a lot of new things that maybe the teachers aren't ready for, maybe some of the police aren't ready for. And I was hoping to actually begin this training in the summer. It is a 5-day training for police officers and for teachers. And I was hoping that in the summer they could actually do this and be ready for the youth when they come back. So I was thinking I was going to ask you if there's a way I could do an emergency funding request to actually put on this training for the police departments and the schools over the summer. And so what I just heard now is that your funding request or your funding years is going to be May 1st. And so I'm not really sure how to proceed with this, because if you are not going to approve things until June 10th, for me to get out to the principals and to the police departments and schedule time off to attend this training, we might have missed the window for the summer. So is there anything that you've thought of as like an emergency funding request, just so I could do the training over the summer, and then I could put in a full application for continuing on from September until April 30th, when your end of the year would be? Or if you have any ideas of how I could actually submit this. And I do want to say that it is very evidence-based. Not only that, but I've been working with the Department of Justice. They've awarded me, there's a Department of Justice mental health community action program. It's put on by the federal government. They have actually given me technical assistance. And what they're asking for is that if I go ahead and do this as a pilot program for this year, they will actually help me this year with technical assistance so that I will be able to master a federal grant and carry this on. And the federal grant actually, I believe, begins, I thought it was March 1st. So they just awarded their grants already, and they said that really that this is not something that they see. Most of the prevention grants that they're doing are after a child's already been arrested and the child's arrested. And so this is really taken it up to the federal government, talking about that we're talking about doing prevention, not treatment for a youth, but prevention, and really giving them the idea that if there is trouble in the home or there's some things that are going on in the home, that the community will support them. So I know that was a big ask, but I'm not sure if you thought about doing any emergency funding grants and how I would submit it. If I got the application that you're talking about putting out, I could have it done and ready by your next meeting on the 8th.
Okay.
I know that was a big one.
Yeah.
We're so new. We're so new. We're trying to figure out the process, and I don't know.
I can say this just briefly. We can't take any action tonight. So no decision can be made tonight. So maybe if that just, so that's out there, nobody feels like we have to make a decision right now.
Right.
Yeah.
But I wasn't sure if I should do like an emergency request just for the summer, or should I try to just do one request? And if the timing goes, you know, really, I think the kids are going to go back to school in September. And I think that you know, us community members need to be ready for these kids. I mean, the kids that I see now, they're having some trouble. They're really having some trouble, and they're not even wanting to go back.
Yeah, so I think, you know, as Don commented, you know, we're really early in on this. And you know, we've set some guidelines. I think you know, we intend to make, you know, the application. I mean, this is the first time through with our application. We intend to make the application available beginning on, you know, next week. We don't have any processes set up at the moment for emergency funding. June 10th, I think it was June 10th, if I remember, without the piece of paper in front of me. I think June 10th was the meeting we'd set aside for making decisions. I personally don't think that we're in any position to do anything faster than June 10th, given all the other work that we have to do. But what I would say is, I think I don't know what you said the summer. I mean, July and August are summer. I know school, generally starts around third week in August or something like that, mid-August. Depending on how quickly, if we decided to accept, your application and fund it, how fast, we could turn that around for you would really depend on the contract negotiations at this point. And we haven't even, gotten to a point yet where we even have, a standard contract to work from, which is, one of the next steps here that's going to happen in parallel. So even if we were to say, yeah, you could submit something by the end of next week, we really wouldn't be in any situation to evaluate it or even to go to contract on it. And I think it's also important at this point that we give everybody, a fair chance at funding on this first go round. Otherwise, I'd be really concerned about setting a precedent where it's like, well, you funded this special, emergency funding request, and then everybody else who's following the timeline is like, well, why did you fund them and give them special treatment and not us? And so I'm a little bit concerned about the perceptions around that.
Okay, that's fair. But can I ask you this? When you said that you are going a timeline of May 1st to April 30th, I guess I just thought in my mind that it was the funding wouldn't start till January. You know what I'm saying? So when you're talking about May 1st, are you talking about May 1st, 2021? Or are you talking about May 1st, 2022?
May 1st, 2021.
And that's really only for the budget cycle. That's not for services.
Oh, gotcha. So the application for request funding would not start till January 1st.
No, funding would start once we agreed on a contract, basically.
Okay.
So, for example, if we agreed on a contract by June 30th, where we'd award funding to you, then funding would become available at that time when the contract goes into effect. We're not waiting until, we're trying to move as quickly as possible to have people have access to the funding. And, there's only so much time in a day, and with the other obligations that we all have, to move this along, we think we're on a fairly aggressive schedule now. And so, unless any other members of the board disagree with me, I think we want to be fair. We want to be fair to everybody on this cycle. So it's
I agree. June 30th is great. I was thinking before 5 o'clock tonight, my thought was the funding isn't going to start till January. And then to start a program in the schools that open up in September, it would be too late. But, as long as it's going to start before the schools, I think that's perfect. You know what I mean? I wasn't looking for something before that. I just wasn't really sure till I heard this meeting that you guys are going with a May 1st.
Okay, no, that's fine. So, yeah, so again, our intent is to, notify people on June 10th of who we are going to award funding to, and then we would enter into contract negotiations after that point. And so as soon as a contract is negotiated, then we can move forward with funding.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay,
Mary, that was a good question because Bloomingdale does it very differently. And we didn't do any emergency funding until that first year of complete funding. And the emergency funding was for existing contracts through the Bloomingdale 708 board. So that was a good a good question on your part.
Yeah, it is. And it's something, and it's also something that's been sitting in the back of my mind, having looked at how other 708 boards deal with funding. And, you know, I can envision us in the future having a process for emergency funding, you know, down the road. But I think through, you know, right at the moment, we're just trying to get out of the gate in a reasonable and organized fashion for everybody.
Yeah, it's a mosh pit still,
yeah.
Right?
But, you know, personally, I agree with you that, you know, taking, you know, having something in place for students. I mean, we're hearing from a lot of different people about, you know, that this fall could be rough. And, you know, given what's been going on for the past year, and now that cases are rising again, you know, who knows what the summer's going to bring and what school's going to look like in the fall. So, you know, I'm glad you came and talked to us about this, and I'm glad we were able to clarify for you what dates and years we're talking about. So I'm sorry for the confusion there.
No, thank you so much for your time.
Quick question, is David Carrillo, was he a former or current ECC professor?
Yes, he was. He actually just retired, Dr. Carrillo, correct.
Yeah, my sister, that was my sister's teacher. She went into early education. She said he was super influential in her decision to become an educator.
Yeah. And you know, he's already done this for McHenry County, and he's actually already getting notices from the Schaumburg School Department. And so it's kind of, you know, he is a master trainer on this for the United States. And so that was kind of the idea, is I was trying to get some dates solidified with him before he gives them up.
Yeah, that's good to know. Great to
And
hear.
I mean, he's from the area.
Yes.
Yeah, that's great, because the ACEs, adverse childhood experiences, the Handle with Care really does focus in on that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And having your parents arrest you, being arrested in front of you as a child is traumatic. You know what I mean? Whether it's domestic violence or a warrant or, you know, a criminal offense.
It is.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Mary, thank you very much for attending the meeting and giving us a preview of what you'd like to do, at least in the immediate future. So we appreciate your coming on the call today.
Thank you. I would love a copy of the application. Will I find it on the website? Is that where I would find it?
No, what I'm going to do is reach out to each individual organization and we'll email it to them.
Okay, perfect.
So I'll reach out to you. I believe I have your contact information. I know where to find you anyway.
You know where to find me.
Yeah. So you'll be hearing from me very early next week. Okay.
Thank you so much for your time, and all of you. You do great work.
Okay. Thank you, Mary.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Is there any other items? We're on to item 9, open discussion. Is there anything else people would like to bring up tonight?
Yeah, yes. There's another organization I'd like us to approach, Illinois NAMI, Northern Illinois NAMI.
Yeah, I have that on the list. I didn't read it.
Oh, okay. I could read your mind, Paul.
Yeah. Yeah, they hadn't talked to us yet, but actually, yeah, I'd had them in my notes that they were somebody we needed to reach out to. But thanks for that, Dawn. Appreciate it. Anything else from anybody? Okay. I would like to say thank you, everybody, for plowing through all those documents that I sent out. Really appreciate it. We appreciate the feedback. I think we've got a good set of documents to send out to people. I will put the finishing touches on them. I'll probably put just a cover letter on there for me as well. As a representative from the board, I'll make that available to everybody else as well. It'll be, you know, pretty mundane, but you should all know what it is. The next meeting is May 13th, 2021 at 6:30. I will let everybody know that that's my wife's birthday. So I've got
You're
to
in
do
trouble.
Yeah, well, yeah. Actually, no. I think she's asking for the whole weekend now to celebrate her birthday. But,
Oh, good for her. Good negotiation.
yeah, well, my wife has this concept of birthday month.
That's what I do.
Yeah. So I didn't know. I didn't even know about that when we were dating until we got married. So I gave her a birthday month, but I asked for a birthday quarter. So. So anyway, our next meeting is May 13th, 6:30. Hopefully we'll have a good set of documents in front of us at that time. And I will now entertain a motion for adjournment. Anybody, or do you want to keep meeting?
Go ahead, Cindy.
I make the motion, please, for adjournment.
Okay. Thanks, Cindy. Alec, I saw your hand raised.
Yeah, I
second.
second.
Okay, thank you. Maria, would you take a call to adjourn the meeting?
Yes. Trustee Arimura?
Aye.
Trustee Borrero? Aye. Supervisor Glees?
Aye.
Trustee New Schaefer?
Aye.
Trustee Olden?
Aye.
Trustee Setz?
Aye.
Trustee Witt? She's absent, but I'm sure she will say aye.
Okay, thank you, everybody. Thanks for all your hard work.
Good evening, everybody.
Good job, guys.
Good seeing you. All right, President Setz, should I stop the recording?
Yes, please.
Recording has been stopped.